Live from New Delhi, you're watching the India News, India's voice to the world. I'm Lipakshi Khurana, coming up in the next hour. Tensions continue to soar in West Asia as Israel tells the US that Iran is getting ready for a large-scale retaliatory attack to Hamas leaders' killing. US deploys a guided missile submarine and a carrier strike group to the region. Hamas refuses to send a delegation to participate in Gaza ceasefire talks, rejects new conditions and demands presented by Israel's government. Ukraine and Russia trade accusations over fire at Zaporizhzhia nuclear power plant. UN nuclear watchdog says no impact on nuclear safety. And Paris hands over baton to Los Angeles as the 2024 Olympic concludes. US actor Tom Cruise rappels into the stadium to receive the Olympic flag. Moving on to the details now, Qatar, Egypt and the United States are pushing once again to finalize a peace deal between Israel and Hamas. Hamas is asking for implementation of a ceasefire plan for Gaza put forward by US President Joe Biden instead of holding more negotiations. Hamas has cast a doubt on its participation in a Thursday meeting called by mediators, which would take place either in Cairo or Doha. Israel said that it would send negotiators to take part in the meeting. Hamas initially said that it was studying the offer, but has now hinted that it may stay out of the new round of talks. It said that the assassination of its leader Ismail Haniyeh in Tehran last month indicates that Tel Aviv is not serious about pushing a ceasefire. Biden had laid out a three-phase ceasefire proposal in an address on the 31st of May. And Israel's Defense Minister Yoav Gallant spoke on Sunday with the U.S. Defense Secretary Lloyd Austin and told him that Iran's military preparation suggests that Iran is getting ready for a large-scale retaliatory attack on Israel. Also, the U.S. has ordered deployment of its giant carrier strike groups and guided missile submarines to West Asia. It is aimed to thwart the spread of the conflict and hinder other countries to join hands with Iran. In talks with his Israeli counterpart, Yoav Gallant, on Sunday, U.S. Defense Secretary Lloyd Austin assured the security of Israel. Austin said that he had ordered the USS Abraham Lincoln carrier strike group equipped with fighter jets to move to the region. This move will boost the capabilities already provided by the USS Theodore Roosevelt carrier strike group. Austin also ordered the USS Georgia guided missile submarine to the region. In his talks, Austin told his Israeli counterpart to exercise control over harm to civilians in Gaza and move towards a ceasefire agreement with Hamas in order to secure the release of hostages and prevent the spread of the conflict in the region. Well, an U.S. carrier strike group is centered around an aircraft carrier. The group is composed of a flotilla of supporting ships and aircrafts to operate together as a cohesive and powerful military force. The aircraft carrier is a floating airbase capable of launching and recovering aircraft, including airstrikes, reconnaissance and air superiority operations. Here is a report by Akhilesh Suman on their strength and importance of presence in the seas. In the tense West Asian region, US is deploying its two major nuclear-powered carrier groups and a nuclear-powered submarine. The major show of US naval might include two aircraft carrier strike groups, USS Abraham Lincoln and USS Theodore Roosevelt. USS Abraham Lincoln is capable of supporting a wide range of military operations, including airstrikes, intelligence gathering and humanitarian missions. The ship is also equipped with F-35C stealth fighters. USS Theodore Roosevelt is also a nuclear-powered aircraft carrier. It is already in the region since the situation deteriorated and is maintaining a deterrent posture. It serves as a key asset for the U.S. Navy's ability to maintain a forward-deployed presence and respond to crisis. USS Georgia is a nuclear-powered submarine with Tomahawk cruise missiles, allowing it to conduct precision strikes. USS Georgia's stealth and firepower make it an important tool for strategic deterrence. These vessels together form a powerful and flexible naval force. The deployment of these military assets by the U.S. Defense Department to the Central Command or the CENTCOM area displays substantial increase in American military presence and readiness in the tense West Asian region. The deployment solves a dual purpose for the U.S. It is a warning to Iran and its allies in the region and also reassures Israel that U.S. is firming up its ironclad guarantee to Israel defense with actual large-scale deployment. Akhilesh Suman's report for DD India. All right, and to understand this further, we have Alok Bansal, Director, India Foundation and Security Expert, joining us. Welcome to DD India, sir. Sir, I would like to first know, amidst all these heightening tensions in West Asia right now, how might the presence of US submarines impact the existing tensions in the region, particularly in respect to Iran? Is there a risk of further escalating conflicts?
See, the US purpose of deploying forces primarily to prevent escalation, but in the process, US could end up escalating the tension itself. Because while deploying of ships, aircraft carriers, etc., may be to prevent an Iranian attack on Israel, as was done last time, where most of the Iranian projectiles and missiles were intercepted by the US and its allied forces before they could reach Israel. But the deployment of submarines is actually probably to prevent Iranian naval forces from indulging in some acts of which they are probably anticipating. And if that sort of a situation happens, then there may be problems in Persian Gulf, which would have a lasting global impact. So we only hope that something like that doesn't happen, because a naval battle inside Persian Gulf with Iran could seriously jeopardize the trade and traffic that is passing through the Persian Gulf.
Also, sir, what do you think, what role do you think regional allies like Saudi Arabia and Israel play in supporting or coordinating with these US submarine deployments?
See, Saudi Arabia had last time also collaborated with US if you remember last time when Iran launched attacks on Israel, many of them projectiles were actually intercepted within Saudi territory. Saudi forces helped in intercepting them. But at the same time, we must also understand that the public sentiment across the Arab world are deeply enraged by Israel's continuous attacks on Gaza Strip. And it will be difficult for Arab states to openly do something against Israel, do something against Iran, especially when Iran is taking some action against Israel. They would not want to be seen to be supporting Israel in this particular thing. So one will have to wait and watch. I think most of these probably would indulge in defensive actions. Maybe in case if Iranian Navy indulges in something, then yes, then these allies will come into play, because then they would have a valid ground for targeting Iranian vessels and supporting the US mission, because trade through the Persian Gulf is absolutely important for many of these Gulf states, which are probably today the allies of US, and would come into play as and when the conflict actually escalates.
All right. So if we talk about the broader aspect, how do you think this deployment will fit into the broader long-term US strategy, particularly in West Asia?
See, the US strategy for some time had been to pull out of West Asia. If you actually remember, after US became self-sufficient in energy and they were no longer dependent on Persian Gulf oil, they had actually started scaling down. They still have presence in Bahrain, Qatar, etc. But this recent build-up, to my mind, is temporary and probably to prevent this sort of escalation, which is likely to happen between Iran and Israel after Hamas leader Haniyeh was killed in Tehran.
Yeah,
and this could probably result in further aggravation, because US doesn't want, going into a presidential election, to have greater tensions between Iran and Israel, because that would put Democratic Party, to which President Biden belongs, into a very big quandary, because unlike the Republicans, they have divided loyalties. They have a large number of Palestinian supporters with them, as well as a significant number of Jews also supporting them.
Very rightly said, sir. So also, are there any rules of engagement if we talk about international waters for these submarines, particularly in contested waters?
See, submarines or warships in international waters are not supposed to engage anyone. I also personally feel that US ships and US naval deployment is purely a defensive strategy rather than an offensive action. So these ships would be operating, and as per the international laws and UNCLOS, warships can take innocent passage in the territorial waters of another state. That is, they can pass within 12 nautical miles of another state if they are going on an innocent passage. So that is an issue which warships can be doing. And I think US attempt by bringing these ships into the Persian Gulf is to show to the Iran that yes, they are prepared, and they would request them or deter them from actually aggravating the situation. Although I think, considering the situation, Iran would have to take some token action as they had taken last time. So they would be forced to take some action. Some attack on Israel would definitely come. As long as it is missiles or aerial projectiles, it will not have much of an impact. But if it is a maritime action, in the naval action in the Persian Gulf, then it will be a problematic thing, because it will affect the global community to a very large extent.
All right. Also, another important question, sir, has the recent redeployment of the USS Abraham Lincoln Carrier Strike Group created a void in the US Navy's presence in the Western Pacific, a region increasingly fraught with geopolitical tensions, particularly challenges from the rising China, bold Russia, North Korea that persist in the testing its neighbors?
See, that's a contested arena where US warships have always been there. That's also a backyard of the US. But at this point of time, the tensions in Persian Gulf are rising, and I think two carrier battle groups in Persian Gulf is a fairly powerful and is an extremely powerful naval force, and that would have some deterrence effect. Undoubtedly, I think Iran would be deterred as far as engaging in any naval action is concerned in the Persian Gulf.
All right. Thank you so much, sir, for giving us all those views of yours for DD India. Thank you for joining us. And moving on, the Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps is holding military drills in the western part of the country that will continue until Tuesday, Iran's official news agency announced on Sunday. The drills, which started on Friday, are ongoing in the western province of Kermanshah, close to the border with Iraq, to enhance combat readiness and vigilance. Iran and the Hamas accuse Israel of carrying out Haniyeh's assassination on 31st of July. Israel has not claimed or denied responsibility for the killing, which has fueled further concern that the war between Israel and Hamas in the Gaza Strip was turning into a wider war. An update now on Russia-Ukraine conflict. A fire erupted in a cooling tower at Ukraine's Zaporizhzhia nuclear power plant, currently under Russian control. Moscow and Kyiv accused each other of starting the fire, with both sides reporting no sign of elevated radiation. Ukraine's President Volodymyr Zelensky blames Russia for the fire. He said that Russian forces had lit a fire on the premises of the plant, adding that it was visible from Kyiv-held territory. A video posted by Zelensky on social media appeared to show fire and thick smoke inside one of the plant's cooling towers. Meanwhile, the UN nuclear watchdog said that its experts had witnessed strong, dark smoke coming from the northern area of the plant following multiple explosions. But it confirmed that there is no impact on nuclear safety. Well, meanwhile, Moscow sends reinforcements and evacuates civilians from the Kursk region. Dasha Chernyshyova has more from Moscow.
Moscow said on Sunday that it had foiled Ukrainian attempts to break through deep into the Russian territory. Russian Ministry of Defense said it continued to fight against the Ukrainian incursion in the Kursk region and had destroyed up to 1,400 Ukrainian troops since Tuesday. It also released the videos showing the destruction of the Ukrainian military hardware. The MOD also said that it hit the Ukrainian military in the Sumy region of Ukraine. Local authorities have confirmed that more reinforcements were coming their way to the Kursk region to stabilize the situation and ensure safety. Meanwhile, evacuations are ongoing, with more than 8,000 people leaving the Kursk region on Sunday. And the Russian Ministry of Foreign Affairs spokeswoman Maria Zakharova said that Russia will have, quote, a tough response to the Ukrainian attacks on Russia's border regions. Dasha Cherneshova reporting in Moscow for DD India.
And still to come in DD India News Hour. Amidst Trump's 2024 campaign, media mogul Elon Musk to interview former President Donald Trump on his social media platform X. Zaporizhzhia, the son of ousted Bangladesh Prime Minister Sheikh Hasina, refutes reports of his mother's resignation statement. And the annual Flower Festival at Medellin in Colombia showcases the country's rich biodiversity. Welcome back. You're watching DD India News Hour. Lipak Shikuran, and moving on. SpaceX and Tesla billionaire Elon Musk will do an interview with the Republican presidential candidate Donald Trump on Monday night. In a highly anticipated event, media mogul Elon Musk is set to interview former President Donald Trump on a social media platform X. The interview comes at a pivotal moment for Trump's 2024 campaign, as his supporters are eager for renewed engagement and clarity on his policies and vision for America. Following Musk's takeover of X, he reinstated Trump's account, which was suspended by the platform's former owners after the January 6 riots at the U.S. Capitol in 2021. And in U.S., Republican vice presidential candidate J.D. Vance has fired back at the people who attacked his wife of Indian origin, Usha Chilukari Vance. During an interview given to an American channel, Vance has publicly disavowed far-right white supremacist Nick Fuentes, who recently attacked Usha Vance for her Indian heritage. White supremacists have launched verbal assaults and attacks on Vance and his family after Vance joined Trump's re-election campaign last month. He said that the best thing to do about them is to ignore them.
My attitude to these people attacking my wife is, she's beautiful, she's smart. What kind of man marries Usha? A very smart man and a very lucky man, importantly. And my view is, look, if these guys want to attack me or attack my views, my policy views, my personality, come after me, but don't attack my wife. She's out of your league.
Well, J.D. Vance also defended the Trump's campaign's immigration proposals during an interview if he and Donald Trump are elected.
President Trump is absolutely right. You cannot have a border unless you're willing to deport some people. I think it's interesting that people focus on, well, how do you deport 18 million people? Let's start with 1 million. That's where Kamala Harris has failed, and then we can go from there.
And our updates from neighboring Bangladesh. Zaporizhzhia, the son of ousted Bangladesh Prime Minister Sheikh Hasina, refuted reports surfacing in social media about her resignation. Wajib said that a newspaper report attributed to his mother is false and fabricated. In a post on X, he wrote, "The recent resignation statement attributed to my mother published in a newspaper is completely false and fabricated. I have just confirmed with her that she did not make any statement either before or since leaving Dhaka." Also, High Court Judge Syed Rifat Ahmed was sworn in as the 25th Chief Justice of Bangladesh on Sunday. Bangladesh President Mohammad Shahabuddin administered the oath of office to Justice Syed Rifat Ahmed at a ceremony in Dhaka. Chief Advisor to the interim government, Professor Dr. Mohammad Yunus, was also present on the occasion. Advisors to the interim government, judges, chiefs of the three services, Attorney General and Supreme lawyers, including Bar Association leaders, among others, were present at the oath-taking ceremony. And for more, Kunal Shinde joins us from Tripura on this. Well, Kunal, Bangladesh's newly formed interim government has issued a stern warning to the country's media, stating that they will be shut down if they publish or broadcast any false or misleading news. What's the latest on that?
Well, as we talk about the attacks on minorities that is taking place in neighboring Bangladesh, over here in Tripura, the situation is fairly normal, but the voices are being raised from the civil society members, groups like the artists and the musicians. They have been raising their voice. Also the journalist fraternity, they condemned the attacks on the journalists as well as on the Hindu minorities in Bangladesh. Their houses have been vandalized, and also the vandalism of statues of Gurudev Rabindranath Tagore. As we all know that Rabindranath Tagore is venerated by the Indians and especially the Bengali community here in Tripura. They are hurt with whatever is happening, the attacks and also the vandalism of houses, the vandalism that has been carried out by the majority of the groups over there in Bangladesh. So as a reason, the Tripura Student Union as well as the Hindu Nagarik Samaj over here in Tripura, they condemned and they carried out protest rallies over here in the state, in various parts of the state in last 2 days. And also if we talk about the trade between Tripura and Bangladesh, in a decade back it was 230 crore rupees, but now it has gone manifold. It has gone up to 716 crore rupees. And besides this, if we also talk about the important projects between Bangladesh and Tripura, the one which I want to mention over here specifically is the Agartala-Akhora rail link project. This is as we all know, it is the first rail link project that connects the northeastern state of India with Bangladesh.
Yes.
It is a 972 crore rupees huge project. Although the rail link is more than 12 kilometers, but India has invested a lot in this particular project. It is very important from the bilateral point of view of both the countries, as it will enhance or as it will boost the trade between Tripura as well as Bangladesh. So the entire project is complete, but because of the turmoil that is taking place in Bangladesh, the state government of Tripura is somewhat apprehensive as to when the project will see the light of the day, like when the trade actually commences from this particular rail link project.
Right. Also, Kunal, amidst all these heightened tensions and amidst the rallies you've been talking about, there is a high alert along the India-Bangladesh border. What's the situation there right now?
Right. So we know that Tripura shares 856-kilometer long border with Bangladesh. This is the second, Tripura is the second state which shares such a huge border after West Bengal. West Bengal, of course, it shares 2,000-kilometer long border, but Tripura is also not small in that sense. It is 856 kilometers, and the BSF as well as the Assam Rifles are also on high vigil. Just yesterday, Major General of Assam Rifles, Mr. Suresh Kumar Bhambu, he called on the Chief Minister of Tripura, Dr. Manik Shah, and they both discussed about the situation that is developing in Bangladesh. Also the BSF IG, that is Patel Piyush Purushottam Das, he also visited the border areas, the far-flung border areas in Dhalai and in North Tripura district to assess the security scenario over there. And the committee which has been formed by the central government, it also includes the IG BSF, Mr. Patel Piyush Purushottam Das, and also the secretary and the member of the integrated check post in Agartala and Sonamura.
Right, Kunal, thank you so much for all that update from Tripura. And moving on, Thailand's Constitutional Court will decide on August 14 if it will remove Prime Minister Srettha Thavisin from office for breaching the constitution over a cabinet appointment. The case against Srettha was launched following a complaint by 40 military-appointed senators in May, which was subsequently accepted by the Constitutional Court. PM Srettha is backed by the populist Pheu Thai party and said that he would continue to work normally until upcoming ruling. Earlier, the Constitutional Court also disbanded the opposition Move Forward party. And Hong Kong's top court on Monday unanimously dismissed the bid to overturn the convictions of media tycoon Jimmy Lai and 6 other pro-democracy campaigners for an unauthorized assembly in 2019. 76-year-old Lai, the founder of the pro-democracy newspaper Apple Daily, and 6 others, including veteran Democrat Martin Lee, had been found guilty of organizing and participating in an unauthorized assembly in August 2019 during months-long pro-democracy protest in the China-ruled city. While a lower court had overturned their conviction for organizing the unauthorized assembly, but their conviction for taking part in an unauthorized procession was upheld. Their appeal centered on whether the conviction was proportionate to fundamental human rights protections, a principle set down in the 2 non-binding decision of Britain's Supreme Court known as operational proportionality. And in Uganda, the death toll from a landslide at a vast garbage dump in capital Kampala has risen to 21. After torrential rain in recent weeks, a huge amount of garbage at the city's only landfill site collapsed late on Friday, crushing and burying homes on the edge of the site as residents slept. At least 14 people have been rescued so far. Uganda's President Yoweri Museveni has directed the Prime Minister to coordinate the removal of all those living near the garbage dump. The government has also started investigations into the landslide's cause. The landfill site, known as Kirizi, has served as Kampala's sole garbage dump for decades and had turned into a big hill. Residents have long complained of hazardous waste polluting the environment and posing a danger to the residents. And now let's take a look at other stories making news around the world. Banksy on Sunday unveiled a new artwork in London depicting a shoal of fish on a police sentry box, his 7th animal-themed piece to surface in the British capital over the last week. The series, created by the elusive street artist, has sparked a frenzy of media interest and questions over its meaning. The newest offering appears to have been made using translucent spray paint, turning it into what looks like a giant fish tank. A wonderful treasures welcome visitors inside the Moroccan villa filled with classical cars in Rabat. The villa, owned by Sheikh Hamad bin Hamdan Al Nahyan, has over 150 classical cars, which can now be seen only in old television scenes and magazines. Sheikh Hamdan has converted his house to a museum and opened it free of cost for all car enthusiasts. In Colombia, the art of floristry is deeply embedded in the nation's cultural heritage, celebrated through vibrant festivals and traditions that showcase the country's rich biodiversity and the skill of its artisans. One of the most notable celebrations is the annual Flower Festival in Medellin, which highlights the work of florists and flower growers known as siliteros. And still to come on DD India News App. The chief of India's regulatory body for securities and commodity market refutes allegations leveled by US investment research company. India celebrates the birth anniversary of eminent space scientist Vikram Sarabhai. And doctors announced pan-India strike to agitate against the alleged sexual assault and murder of Kolkata doctor.
Complex issues, hidden agendas, twists and turns, strategic games. We think all dots are linked. We just need to connect them. Join me every week as I connect the dots to unravel hidden designs in statecraft, mysteries, and decode issues that matter to you. Watch Connecting the Dots with me at these times on DD India.
Welcome back. You're watching DD India News Now. Lipakshi Khurana, and time now for a quick recap of the headlines. Tensions continue to soar in West Asia as Israel tells the US that Iran is getting ready for a large-scale retaliatory attack to Hamas leaders' killing. US deploys a guided missile submarine and a carrier strike group to the region. Hamas refuses to send a delegation to participate in Gaza ceasefire talks, rejects new conditions and demands presented by Israel's government. Ukraine and Russia trade accusations over fire at Zaporizhzhia nuclear power plant. UN nuclear watchdog says no impact on nuclear safety. And Paris hands over baton to Los Angeles as the 2024 Olympic concludes. US actor Tom Cruise rappels into the stadium to receive the Olympic flag. And moving on, the Securities and Exchange Board of India, SEBI, has refuted the allegations made by Hindenburg Research and emphasized that it has adequate internal mechanisms for addressing issues relating to conflict of interest, which include disclosure framework and provision for recusal. It also noted that relevant disclosures required in terms of holdings of securities and their transfers have been made by the chairperson from time to time. The SEBI has also asked investors to remain calm and exercise due diligence before reacting to such reports. Earlier, the chairperson of India's regulatory body for securities and commodity market has junked allegations contained in a report published by the US-based Hindenburg Research. Madhabi Buch, who heads the Security and Exchange Board of India, and her husband put out a statement in this regard. And DD India's Shyama Mishra joins us for more from Mumbai on this. Well, Shyama, good morning. After the responses by SEBI, Adani and the Indian industry, there will be a need to watch out whether fresh buying into the market comes at a lower level as a support or not.
Well, yes, Lipakshi, and that was one of the aims that could have been come out with this report. But as you're seeing right now, that Indian markets definitely had an impact, but it can be termed as a knee-jerk reaction, because if you see the Sensex right now, it is trading above 79,000, and it's only half a point, close to half a point down, half a percentage down, and even the Nifty 50, it's trading half a percentage down. So not much of a reaction over here, not much of a correction over here. And definitely, as you've mentioned, that there has been several statements coming out to boost the investors' confidence. This has come out from SEBI, and SEBI has said that the investors should exercise caution while they are reading these documents or reading these reports, because any document that has been published in this particular report, it's all in the public domain, and even the SEBI chief Madhipuri Buch or other experts have also time and again said this. Since this report has come out, they have said that there is nothing in these reports that are not available on the public domain, and this is just a misuse of these documents for spreading false information. Also, when we are talking about the markets, there has been a lot of support coming out from various backgrounds, and now we are also talking about mutual funds, because mutual funds is one of the places, one of the sectors which is playing an important role in India's growth story. So they have come out with a statement too, saying that India's growth story is strong, and this is not, we're just talking about the investors' confidence from the SEBI or from the SEBI chairperson point of view. They have supported it, and they've said that there has been a lot of steps taken by SEBI as a regulator to boost investors' confidence in a long time, and now this is definitely showing its result. Also, they have said that the Indian markets right now are of global practice. So we can understand that India's growth story is quite strong, and I've already mentioned about the markets, that markets have not shown much of a reaction, because also there is one good breather over here, that this particular report came on Saturday night, and there was one whole day of Sunday where markets soaked in, the investors soaked in this particular information, and this could be very well the reaction after one day of breather that we are talking about. But right. Yes, the legal way ahead could be further investigations into what really Hindenburg has been saying, and why is it time and again coming out with the reports on Adani? Because SEBI has said that out of the 24 cases that were filed, already 23 cases have been cleared. It's already done, and only one which is remaining, it's close to completion. So these kind of malicious accusations will have to be looked out for. Even the Adani group has come out with a statement saying the similar thing, that these kind of accusations are malicious and misleading, and somewhere or the other they are trying to shake the Indian growth story.
All right, Shyama, the silver lining there, that India's growth story is quite strong. Thank you so much for all that update from Mumbai. And moving on, resident doctors at major government hospitals across India are set to indefinitely halt elective services starting from Monday to protest against the alleged sexual assault and murder of a resident doctor in eastern India's Kolkata. The doctors are demanding immediate action in the case and measures to ensure protection for all healthcare workers. Federation of Resident Doctors Association in a meeting on Sunday also demanded CBI inquiry, fast-track court, removal of the principal of RG Kar Medical College and the formation of the Central Protection Act Committee. The tragic incident, which occurred on August 9th, has led to widespread outrage and protest. Meanwhile, in the wake of the rape and murder of a female postgraduate trainee doctor at RG Kar Medical College and Hospital, the West Bengal government has appointed Professor Dr. Bulbul Mukhopadhyay as the new medical superintendent cum vice principal of the college. And at least 7 people were killed and many others injured in a stampede at a temple in India's Jehanabad district. The tragic incident occurred early on Monday morning during morning prayers. Jehanabad District Magistrate Alankrita Pandey said that the situation is now under control. Medical assistance is being provided to the injured while the identification process is underway to identify those killed in the stampede. And moving on, India's Prime Minister Narendra Modi released 109 high-yielding, climate-resilient and bio-fortified varieties of crops in New Delhi on Sunday. Prime Minister also interacted with the farmers and scientists on the occasion, discussing the importance of these new crops varieties. The Prime Minister stressed on the significance of value addition in agriculture. Let's listen in.
भाई अच्छा लगता है इस चीज़ को कि एक ज़मीनी स्तर पर काम हो रहा है। मैं पूरी रात एक्साइटेड रहा, मुझे नींद भी नहीं आई कल कि हमें कल प्रधानमंत्री से मिलना।
2014 से देख रहे हैं अपने प्रधानमंत्री जी को कि किसानों पे और हमारी बहनों पे ज़्यादा ध्यान देते हैं, इसलिए बहनों को भी आगे बढ़ने का मौका मिल रहा है और किसान को तो मिल रहा है।
आज क्योंकि हम अपने प्रधानमंत्री जी से मिलने वाले हैं तो एक्साइटमेंट बहुत है, वो आप मेरे चेहरे से भी अंदाजा लगा सकते हैं।
नेचुरल फार्मिंग में खर्चा कम लगता है।
15 साल से मैं कर रहा हूँ सर नेचुरल फार्मिंग, और मैं ऑर्डर पूरे नहीं कर रहा। खाने वाले इतने हैं, उगाने वाले कम।
भाई आप लोग तो सुबह सुबह यहाँ आए होंगे, लेकिन मुझे अच्छा लगा।
मैं पहले तो अपने आदरणीय माननीय प्रधानमंत्री नरेंद्र मोदी जी को बहुत बहुत कोटि कोटि नमन बंदन करना चाहूँगी कि उन्होंने किसानों के लिए इतनी अच्छी अच्छी योजनाएं चलाई।
आज खाद्यान्न की लगभग 70 वैरायटीज और बागवानी की 40 वैरायटीज, नए वैरायटीज किसानों को प्राप्त हो रही है।
हमें यहाँ आकर इतना अच्छा लगा, बहुत अच्छा लगा, जैसे कि आज 109 वैरायटियाँ ये लॉन्च होने वाली है यहाँ पर।
मैं मुख्यतः जवार बाजरा गेहूं की खेती करता हूँ और बाजरा ज़्यादा प्रेफर करता हूँ सर। इसमें जो है डायबिटीज़ वगैरह कैंसर से लड़ने की क्षमता है बाजरे में, सुपर फूड है। तो श्री अन्न जो नाम दिया इसको सच्ची मुच्ची अच्छे करके दिया।
पहले जब ऐसी कोई वैरायटी आती थी और सुनते थे तो स्वीकार कर लेते थे कि कोई बगल वाला खेत वाला करे, जरा पहले दूर से देखे यार ठीक हो रहा नहीं रहा, फिर हम करें क्या?
नहीं सर,
ज्यादातर तो यही प्रॉब्लम है। इसका उपाय है, ठीक है, मान लीजिए आपके पास बहुत छोटी 2 हेक्टेयर जमीन है, तो छोटा सा टुकड़ा प्रयोग करना चाहिए, बाकियों में नहीं करना चाहिए। बाकियों में आपकी जो, और उसमें अगर ठीक निकलता है या तो 4 कोने में थोड़ा थोड़ा कर देना चाहिए। तो मैं समझता हूँ कि शायद आप खुद अपना प्रयोगशाला अपने खेत में ही खड़ी कर सकते हैं।
किसान को किसान देख के जल्दी काम पकड़ता भी, इसकी आमदन मेरे से ज्यादा ना बढ़ जाए। ये बात नहीं है, किसान आज का अवेयरनेस आ चुकी है, लेकिन पिछले 10 सालों में ना किसान सब चना, गेहूं और धान इन फसलों में जा रहे थे। आपने मिल्ट्स के MSP बढ़ा दिया सर।
जो झगड़ा कॉर्पोरेट वर्ल्ड में होता है वो आपके यहाँ भी होता है।
जब आप सबसे मैं सुनता हूं तो मैं वाकई मेरा मन कह उठता है कि भारत की खेती के लिए आज बहुत बड़ा दिन है।
3 देश के लोग हैं जिनका रुचि बढ़ रहा है।
हाँ, अमेरिका के लोग हमारे पास आए हैं, सूरीनेम से जो है, सूरीनेम से वो आके सांसद हमारे पास आए थे सर, जिसके बारे में जानने के लिए, बातें करने के लिए।
जो जैसे किसान भाई हैं, पहले सर सभी बाजरा, रागी वगैरह काफी वर्षों पहले सभी करते थे और स्वस्थ भी रहते थे सर। इतनी बीमारियां जो आजकल हो गई हैं, तो ये बीमारियां भी नहीं थी। तो सर मिलेट्स खाना पहले नंबर पर तो सर स्वास्थ्य के लिए बहुत लाभकारी है। किसानों को सर इससे लाभ भी हो रहा है, क्योंकि उन्हें जो है पैसा भी ज्यादा मिल रहा है सर। हम मार्केट से उससे 2-3 रुपए उनसे सर फालतू खरीद लेते हैं और उससे अपना पैकेजिंग करके सर उसमें भी रेट ज्यादा मिल रहे हैं, तो किसान को सर उसमें डबल आमदनी हो रही है।
लाल बहादुर शास्त्री जी के जय जवान जय किसान को तो हमने बहुत सुना है, अटल जी ने उसमें जय विज्ञान भी जोड़ दिया था, लेकिन आज का युग बदल गया है। इसलिए मैंने तो कहा भाई जय जवान जय किसान जय विज्ञान, और सबसे महत्वपूर्ण जय अनुसंधान। और जब मैं बाजरे के खेतों में आपका जो वर्णन सुन रहा हूँ, ये इतने सारे नए बीज वैरायटी देख रहा हूँ, तो मुझे लगता है ये मंत्र सच्चे अर्थ में धरती पर उतरा है, ये खेतों में गूंज रहा है। और आप तो प्रगतिशील लोग लगते हैं, आप प्रयोगशील भी लगते हैं, और इसलिए मैं देख रहा हूं कि आपके चेहरे पर ये जो खुशी है ना, ये सभी किसानों के चेहरे पर कैसे आए।
ये जो 11 किस्में हैं आपके सुझाव के, आपने 18-19 में हमें सुझाव दिया था कि अंडर यूटिलाइज्ड क्रॉप्स को हमें मेन स्ट्रीम करना है। हमने तब से अनुसंधान शुरू किया और ये 11 वैरायटी जो है हमने इसकी निकाली है।
लैब में काम करने वाले और लैंड पे काम करने वालों का ये नाता, यही तो सबसे बड़ी ताकत है कि किस किसानों वैज्ञानिकों ने आपसे जो सुना जाना, उसके आधार पर जो सोच की, उसी में से तो नई नई वैरायटीज आ रही हैं। और आपके चेहरे से लग रहा है आपको तो बहुत अच्छा लगता होगा।
भाई किसान लोग बताइए, नई नई वैरायटी होती है, आप लोगों को कैसा लगता है इसका? आइए किसान मेरे अंडर आ जाए इस खाते में।
भारत सरकार की स्कीम आई थी मेरा गांव मेरा गौरव, तो मेरे भी गांव का क्लस्टर IRA ने अडॉप्ट किया था। तो उसमें हर सोमवार को हमने एक दिन तय किया था कि फार्म स्कूल चलेगा, कोई ना कोई साइंटिस्ट यहाँ से आता था। तो जो हमारी समस्या थी कि हमारा चावल रिजेक्ट हो रहा था बाहर पेस्टिसाइड की वजह से, तो हमारे किसानों के ग्रुप को वो समझाया गया कि आपने ये पेस्टिसाइड नहीं डालनी, और एक गैप के तहत गुड एग्रीकल्चर प्रैक्टिस के तहत आप खेती करोगे। तो आज की डेट में ये पोजीशन है कि हमारा चावल पहले खेत से सैंपलिंग होता है और फिर उसका टेस्टिंग होता है, फिर एक्सपोर्टर लेता है और उसका हमें बाद में हमारा चावल जाने के बाद हमें एक्स्ट्रा बोनस देता है।
भारत सरकार ने प्राकृतिक खेती को बढ़ावा दिया, उसका भी हम धन्यवाद करते हैं।
मेरा नाम अनीता है, मैं आदर्श महिला स्वयं सहायता समूह से जुड़ी हुई हूँ और मैं गन्ने की पौध तैयार करती हूँ। जो अपना रोगग्रस्त गन्ना होता है उसे अलग कर देते हैं, उसको अच्छा गन्ना निकाल के उसकी नस्ल बना करके
सबको मालूम है कि आपका रोग मुक्त गन्ना का बीज है। किसान का मन करना चाहिए कि कृषि विज्ञान केंद्र जाना, वहाँ पूछना समझना, कोई नई चीज आई है तो यहाँ किसी से फोन पे बात करना।
ट्रैक्टर भी चला लेती हूँ।
अरे वाह।
किसान सम्मान निधि है, इसका तो कहना ही क्या है, और सिंचाई से भी जो
आज हिंदुस्तान के कोने कोने से जब मैं फ्यूचर सुन रहा हूं ना कि किसान खुद अपनी धरती माँ की चिंता करने लगा है, वो भी मानने लगा है कि भाई ये उर्वरक, ये फर्टिलाइजर, ये पेस्टिसाइड्स, ये दवाइयाँ सब तबाही कर रही है और वो प्राकृतिक खेती की तरफ मुड़ रहा है। और मैं देख रहा हूँ जब किसानों ने प्राकृतिक खेती की कमान संभाल ली है तो परिणाम बहुत बड़ा आएगा। मैंने तो पहले ही कहा था भाई तीसरे टर्म में मैं 3 गुना रफ्तार से काम करूंगा और यही तो 3 गुना रफ्तार है जब आज करीब करीब 109 वैरायटीज किसानों के चरणों में रखते हुए किसको आनंद नहीं होगा।
इससे पहले क्या होता था कि ये जब उद्घाटन होते थे नई किस्मों के बीज के तो कहीं ऑडिटोरियम में बैठ के और अपना रिबन कट जाता। पहली बार हुआ किसान बुलाए और किसानों से पूछा। मुझे यकीन नहीं था कि वो इतना डीपली जाके पूछेंगे। उन्होंने बहुत अच्छी बातें पूछी।
प्रधानमंत्री जी ने इतनी योजनाएं चलाई हैं और जैसे कि किसान है, महिलाओं के लिए बहुत कुछ किया है और एक महिला शक्ति को आगे बढ़ने का, आगे निकलने का मौका मिला है।
उन्होंने जब से सीरियन के बारे में बताना शुरू किया कि मिलेट्स खाइए, वो अपने बारे में बताते कि मैं मिलेट्स खाता हूँ, इसके ये फायदे हैं, तो लोगों के प्रति उसकी थोड़ी जागरूकता बढ़ी है और इससे क्या हुआ कि जब डिमांड बढ़ी है तो किसानों ने इसको उगाना भी शुरू किया है।
हमारे प्रधानमंत्री जी बहुत दूरंदेशी सोच के और लोगों से थोड़ा आगे के सोचने वाले हैं।
प्रधानमंत्री जी ने कहा भी कि जब तक कि किसान और साइंटिस्ट आपस में नहीं मिलेंगे तो वो लैब में रह जाएगी नॉलेज और वो उसकी फार्म पे रह जाएगी।
हमारा देश आत्मनिर्भर बनेगा, महिलाएं आत्मनिर्भर बनेंगी, किसान भाई अपने आप में सक्षम होंगे, तो ये बहुत अच्छी पहल है। पहले ऐसा किसी ने भी नहीं किया।
उन्होंने महिलाओं को स्पेशली इतना प्रोत्साहन दिया कि वो आगे आएं और जब प्रधानमंत्री जी कहते हैं तो लोग भी अपनी घर की महिलाओं को ये मौका दे रहे हैं कि वो जाएं और काम करें।
All right, so you were watching India's Prime Minister Narendra Modi interacting with the farmers as he released 109 high-yielding, climate-resilient and bio-fortified varieties of crops in New Delhi. Yesterday, PM lauded the scientists for the new varieties. And moving on, today marks the birth anniversary of father of Indian space program, Vikram Sarabhai, a rare combination of a scientist, an innovator, industrialist and a visionary. More in this report.
Vikram Sarabhai was born on August 12, 1919 and was a pioneer in India's space program. He embarked on a journey that would forever shape the nation's scientific landscape. After completing his education in Ahmedabad and at the University of Cambridge, his passion for natural sciences led him to present his honours examination in 1940. Following the Second World War, Sarabhai returned to Cambridge to pursue a doctorate, culminating in his thesis on cosmic ray investigation in tropical latitudes in 1945. Back in India by 1947, at just 28, he founded the Physical Research Laboratory in Ahmedabad, setting the stage for groundbreaking scientific research. He also established the Indian National Committee for Space Research, which later evolved into the Indian Space Research Organisation, ISRO. Under his visionary leadership, India launched its first satellite, Aryabhat, in 1975, marking a significant milestone in the country's space journey. Sarabhai's contributions were not confined to space. He played a pivotal role in founding the Indian Institute of Management in Ahmedabad in 1962, recognizing the need for advanced management education. His commitment to science education also led to the creation of the Vikram Sarabhai Community Science Centre in 1956. Internationally, Sarabhai fostered collaborations, notably with NASA, leading to the Satellite Instructional Television Experiment in 1975, which revolutionized communication in India. His vision also included India's nuclear program, establishing the first rocket launch station at Thumba in 1963. Though Sarabhai passed away in 1971, his legacy lives on, inspiring generations of scientists and researchers. Honored with the Padma Bhushan and the Padma Vibhushan, Sarabhai remains a towering figure in India's scientific heritage. Tapas Bhattacharya's report, DD India.
All right, you're watching DD India News. Our time now for some sports news. So the curtain fell on the Paris 2024 Olympic Games. After 2 magnificent weeks, this epic celebration of sport ended and baton has been handed over to Los Angeles for 2028. The stadium transformed into a grand concert hall celebrating the conclusion of the Paris Olympics with a spectacular closing ceremony. The event showcased a mesmerizing display of artistry. The glittery ceremony featured stars such as Snoop Dogg, Billie Eilish and Red Hot Chili Peppers. US actor Tom Cruise accepted the baton in style. Our correspondent Narayan Singh also witnessed the 2-hour show. Take a listen.
The 33rd edition of the Olympic Games in Paris came to a close at the Stade de France, which is the national stadium of the France, and it was, we can say, the glittering closing ceremony. And unlike the opening ceremony, which was very ambitious and took place on the banks of the River Seine, the closing ceremony chose a more traditional path where the athlete parade took place, where the athletes from the different national Olympic committees having their parade. And we can say that it was a occasion to watch for the sports fans across the world. And if we talk about this closing ceremony, artists, performers from all over the world were here, especially Snoop Dogg was there, Billie Eilish was there, and also Red Hot Chili Pepper were also there. So the fans were enjoying everything what the performers did, but we can call it, it's a great day for the athletes. They were bidding adieu to this 16-day affair where the competition was at the fierce level, where the positions of the teams were determined on the last day of the competition. So all in all, a fantastic affair, and we can say that it will be etched in the memory of the sporting fans for a long time. And talking about the other aspects of this ceremony, the Hollywood actor Tom Cruise were also there, and most importantly, the Paris Games 2024 handed over the baton to the Los Angeles 2028. It was also a very emotional affair. So all in all, we can say that this edition is closed and the preparation for the next edition of the Games has been started right from here.
Well, India's campaign at the Paris Olympics finished with 6 medals. A total of 117 Indian athletes participated across 16 sports at the Paris Games. The Olympics will be remembered for as many as 6 fourth-place finishes for India. The country fell just short of surpassing its previous best at the Tokyo Olympics. DD India's Narayan Singh tells us how the nation fared at these Olympics.
In shooting, where Manu Bhaker could have won another medal for India in the 25-meter pistol event, where she missed a bronze medal by a whisker. And talking about the another skeet mixed event where Maheshwari Chauhan and Anandji Naruka missed a medal in mixed skeet event. That was also another opportunity for the Indian team to win a medal. Talking about archery, where Dheeraj Bomadevra along with Ankita Bhagat finished 4th. They too missed a medal by a whisker. Laksh Sen, who was there in the semi-finals and played the bronze medal match, he lost that match also. So here are the few cases where we lost the medal by a whisker. So if Indian athletes would have just translated those margins, then we would have at least 6 more medals. And also the athletes like Chirag Shetty and Satwik Sairaj, they were the medal contenders for the India. We were hoping that they will win at least bronze or silver, or they were the contenders for the gold. But there also we missed medals. Siftkar Samra too was a medal contender for India. So we can say that there were many aspects of the game. And talking about the Vinesh Fogart too, she booked her berth in the final of the wrestling event in the 50 kg category, but she was disqualified. If she would have been there playing the final, definitely we were hoping that she would have won a gold medal for India. If you take a broader picture, in hockey, we saw 2 back-to-back medals, first in Tokyo and now in Paris. If you talk about archery, first time Indian archery team was there in the semi-finals. And first time we saw a medal in the 50-meter rifle 3 position. That was through Swapnil Kusale. Indian athlete gave a stiff challenge to the athletes of the world. Even in the sports like table tennis, we saw the way Manika Batra was there in the pre-quarterfinals, and also our other women paddler, the way Srija Kula was there. So these are the achievements our athletes just created here at the Paris edition. We are hoping that things will continue, and in the future we will come out more stronger than ever.
Well, as the Paris Olympics 2024 concluded, India's Prime Minister Narendra Modi appreciated the efforts of Indian contingent on social media handle X. PM Modi said, and I quote, "As the Paris Olympics conclude, I appreciate the efforts of the entire Indian contingent through the Games. All the athletes have given their best and every Indian is proud of them, wishing our sporting heroes the best for their upcoming endeavours," unquote. And the 33rd edition of Paris Olympics Games concluded with spectacular show and fireworks. Take a look. All right, that's all for this edition of DD India News Hour. But let us know your thoughts on the news of the day. For those on the go, you can get all the latest news and updates from India and across the world on the DD India mobile app. The app is available on both Android and iOS platforms. Scan the QR code on the screen to download now. We'll be back with more news as it breaks here on DD India. Vipakshi Khurana from all of us here in Delhi. Thanks for watching DD India News Hour.